All right, so Angela Hill gets whooped. There was no way she could claim that she was robbed. Not this time. On the feet, she was getting whooped. I mean, Kline was stinging her with kicks and punches. She kept getting taken down. Angela Hill, I'm talking about. Kline took her down, I don't know, 3-4 times. Got off a little ground and pound. Fight gets back to its feet. And Hill continues to get picked apart. Then in the last round, Kline hits her with a back fist. As Angela Hill was trying to stand up, because they were on the ground fighting, Fatima Kline sort of stood up first. And as Hill was trying to stand up, Kline hit her with a back fist and knocked her back down. It was a hard, clean shot. It had to count as a significant strike. It had to, because it landed flush and caused damage. Knocked her out of position. She had to brace herself to stop herself from falling face flat on the floor. She had to brace herself with her arms. Talking about Angela Hill. From the back fist. And then when Hill stood up, Kline kicked her square in the face. There's no still in this gallery for some stupid reason. Kicked her right in the face. Now, I can't show the video. Wait a minute. Yeah, can't show the video. Here's a still of it. Now, this was the back fist at the top. You can see Hill still on both knees. Kline was on one knee and had her foot up under her with the right leg. So Kline was closer to her feet than Hill. And Kline issued a back fist that knocked Hill. That was funny. That was actually funny. I'm sorry, I laughed. When I saw that, I rewound it to watch it again. I'm like, whoa, did she just back fist her? And almost knock her down? That was petty. That was so petty. But it was smart. She was wide open. And, it hurt. Then as she stood up, Hill took a flush kick to the face. She got whooped. Start to finish. No highlights for Angela Hill. That might be a retirement whooping. That might be one of those beatings where the UFC says, you know what? Thank you, Angela Hill, for showing up to fight, for accepting all the fights that we offer you. Thank you for what you've done for the company, but we have to part ways now. Okay? Your gatekeeper status is no longer needed. And I kind of suspect that that's what's going to happen. Fatima Kline is unranked. Angela Hill is number 12. So Kline is about to be a ranked fighter. And, what's going to happen with Hill? Where is she going to be in the ranking? Fatima moves up. I don't think Hill will get placed above anybody that's beneath her. I don't know. She might just be unranked now. Right? You replace her with Fatima Kline, and if they move Angela Hill down, right? How far down would they move her? They might just get her out of here. Like, bye. We got a new crop of fighters that could make their way up the rankings. That is Alexia Thayanara, who looks like a strong fighter, who has a good chance of staying undefeated as she moves up through the ranks. She's a strong wrestler, a strong ground game, and seems to be able to hold her own on the feet, I guess, until she, gets a takedown. Might be one of those fighters. We'll see. Same with Denise Gomes, if she could keep it going. I would imagine these fighters would replace the likes of Angela Hill, Amanda Ribas, Jillian Robertson possibly, she could possibly move up a few slots. She's about to fight Amanda Lemos. Robinson number 10, Lemos number 5. That would be a big jump, right? You already got Lupi at number 6, Lucindo number 7. So a new crop of fighters moving up. So there would be fresh faces, possibly, real soon, if Wei Li remained champion. But I don't think she can make the weight. I think that's why she moved up to 125. It's just killing her to make 115, I think. That's just my opinion. I'd be surprised she go back to 115. And I'd have to talk about it. If she does that, I'd have to talk about that. Because it would mean that she didn't have to take this fight against Valentina. That it was just, a desire to fight Valentina. And that would be kind of crazy. Like, it's just not necessary, in my opinion. So Shevchenko has tough contenders in front of her. And there's a good chance, there's a chance Shevchenko loses the belt again. And if she does that, that's Wei Li's opportunity to replace her as the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter. You can try to be the best fighter, be seen as the best, without trying to fight her right now. I can see later down the road, if Shevchenko is, taking out all contenders, and so are you, and there's no other way to establish who's the best between you two. But right now, it just wasn't necessary. If she can still make 115. That's why I say I don't think she's able to make the weight. And if that's the case, if 115 is just too much for her to make, then that could spell the downfall of Weili. That could see her at flyweight moving down gradually. Gradually. Because those fighters just might be too big for her. You know, a size disadvantage, I don't think is something that she needs to deal with right now. So we'll see what happens with that. The other fight, Tracy Eyelash Cortez, got stopped by Erin Blanchfield. Now, at 125, what's happening here is the new fighters, new faces, possible new faces, they're putting in their application to be a top 5 fighter, to be a title contender. And they're getting the application rejected. Jasmine applied and got rejected. She fought Manon, got embarrassed. Knocked out in the very first round. Got slept and face planted multiple times early in the first round. That was a hard rejection. Oh, Jasmine, you want to be a top fighter? Rejected. And now, Tracy Cortez, it was her turn. She's number 8. Got a shot at the number 4 ranked fighter. That would have put Tracy in the discussion for a title shot. Something that I would not want to see. Tracy is more of an Instagram influencer. That's where most of her attention comes from. It's not from her performances. If I'm not mistaken, she has over 1 million followers on Instagram. That has not come from her fights. It has not. Right? It has come from her stuffing herself in tight-fitting clothing and revealing her butt cheeks. Right? Having a body that men are attracted to. And I guess a face, if you like fake eyelashes. And her application rejected. Now, I thought she was doing pretty good before she got stopped. At least in the first round. You know? She was pretty much tit for tat as far as a striker. On the feet. On the feet. She was getting it in. Shout out to CHS in the chat room. Salute. So Tracy wasn't quite putting in the work of, let's say, a Natalia Silva, of a Erin Blanchfield. Right? So I feel like the division, you know, the movement of the division is proper. Because Manon has beat a lot of tough fighters. And most people expected her to beat Jasmine. And that's what happened. Like, there's nothing that's really unexpected going on. Where, you know, the credibility of the division was at stake. Because imagine if Jasmine would have just whooped Manon. People would have been like, oh, what happened? Imagine if Jasmine outstruck Manon. Yeah, that wasn't supposed to happen. So what we saw was what we should have saw. Same with Erin. I'm going to go ahead and say it, because even though Erin has a loss long ago outside the UFC, she lost to Tracy Cortez. Since that loss, she has proven herself far more than Tracy Cortez. And it showed. It showed. So, and also, listen, man, Shevchenko might be a champion for a long time. If I'm not mistaken, she just tied a record. She tied Amanda Nunes' record for title defenses. She might go on to break everybody's record, to be honest with you. I can see that happening. I tell you what, she got the best chance of doing that. You know, she's already beaten Manon. Natalia Silva is a good fighter. But I can see Natalia losing as well. I could easily see her losing to Valentina Shevchenko. I could see that being a tough fight for Shevchenko. But I could easily see her defeating her as well. We've already seen her defeat Grasso. I could see her defeating Erin Blanchfield. Everybody right now on the horizon who could be a possible contender, I think Shevchenko could defeat. There was some female who left a comment in my comment section talking about how Shevchenko should only fight for legacy now. So she should only fight super fights. Basically saying that she should look at fighting Kayla Harrison next. Or, who is it, Amanda Nunes next. No. You can hurt your legacy by avoiding the obvious contenders. If we're going to talk about legacy, that's one thing you don't want to do. She's already fought a super fight, as they're called, against Weili Zhang, a respected champion at 115. You know, to do that immediately, again, fight Kayla Harrison right after that, after having the most worthy contender sitting there, she already sat through being overlooked with Weili. To have her sit through that again, that hurts your legacy as well. So that's not going to do her legacy any good. Now, if she defeats Natalia Silva, let's say she had defeated Silva tonight. So let's say tonight, rather than fighting Weili, she fought Natalia Silva and beat her. Then I can see her having 2 consecutive super fights. Because she has already beaten Manon. She would have beaten Natalia Silva, Alexa Grasso, and Blanchfield still needs another fight or two. Macy Barber, you see what I mean? Now you're running into fighters who are not yet proven and will need, time. The time it would take Shevchenko to fight a Weili Zhang, then turn around and fight a Kayla Harrison. So, yeah, I think Natalia Silva is the next obvious opponent. I'm going to try my best to remind people of that every time, I go over or even mention Valentina Shevchenko until it actually happens. And again, people really don't pay attention to the women. So if they try to overlook Silva, it's only going to be us, people on YouTube, because these journalists are in on it. These people who go to the UFC and they know Dana, they're in on it. So I'm going to be tooting the horn, right? Don't do that. I don't think Shevchenko wants to do that. Shevchenko is obviously the type who will fight everybody, anybody who's put in front of her. And, I would imagine that she would want to get that fight out of the way first before she entertained a fight against Kayla Harrison. And Kayla Harrison, that is a huge challenge for Shevchenko, man. That's like Weili moving up. It's like, you don't need to do that. Kayla's too big, man. She is huge. And it seems like every fight, Shevchenko ends up wrestling and grappling on the ground with her opponents. Kayla's all big, got that bounce, her big old back. She shoots in pretty good. She get a hold of Valentina. And I wouldn't even be happy watching that. Watching Kayla Harrison mauling Shevchenko. Let's say she maul her, beat her up and stop her or whatever. I would be like, yeah. What else was supposed to happen? And I would not believe that would happen if they were relatively the same size. If they were relatively the same size, we all would pick Shevchenko, no questions asked. But if they make that fight, don't be surprised if Kayla Harrison is the favorite. And if she's the favorite, it has only to do with size. So I don't think that's a good look for Kayla Harrison. Salute to the chat. I will leave it there. See y'all on the next live.